So, hello folks. So now that we have the concept clear, we're going to jump into the script to run the script and see how it all looks in the data quality framework. So what we have is the whole explanation about this is in the data quality framework documentation, which you can read further what all individual parameters does. For now, for this video, I have taken all the default values so that I can show how it works. The number one is we're creating a domain. So, and I need to connect. I think my database is not connected. So the very first, we're creating a domain. So as you see, the domain is being successfully created. The next step, which we could already see here, the domain. Let's say if we go top 1000 and yeah, so there we go. So this is the domain which has been added, runs on the database, KPI, and yeah, those are the certain default values which has been added, created, and data. We're going to do it's a domain called auditing. We're going to do audit. So this is basically about it. So once you have added this, the very second step is to add the rules. So let's understand how to add the rules. That is also we need to understand this. There are various ways to add the rules in the data quality framework. So option one is just a simple, straightforward from a store procedure. You call a store procedure and you give the inputs and it's just added into the data quality framework. Option two is you have an Excel sheet. Your business analyst will prepare an Excel sheet in a format which the framework can read in, and you can just import them in a stage table, and from there it comes into the data quality framework. To elaborate this, I would like to go back here and want to show this. So they have a stage table. So you will enter all the details. Excel will be imported into the stage table. This is, by the way, the sample data which has been imported. Stage table, and using a store procedure, there are also documentation for that. And you could import the validated rules into the bulk load template. And from here, again, you will run a store procedure, which automatically adds the rules into the DQ rule table. This is only necessary once you have, for instance, 100, 200 rules, and you're not going to add them one by one. So you basically will prefer doing the Excel sheet way. The third and the last, but also very powerful, is using dynamic queries. For instance, you have a data catalog in your organization where you can pull out the name of the table, columns. So you can write dynamic scripts and you make the script load, create the insert statements for you, which will load the DQ rule in the DQ, in the DQ rule table. So these are the three different options where you can bring in the data into the data quality framework. So going back to the script, I'm gonna use two options here: option 3 and option 1. So we're gonna do option 1 first, which is just straightforward using the store procedure. You must also note that the DQ business ID is the ID which is being created in this process. So you need to check the database and use the same ID. So with respect to the business ID, and you add the rest details and you just execute this store procedure. This store procedure will add a record in your DQ rule table. As you see, that is being successfully added. One rule is being added. Another way of doing it is option 3. As I said, you can create the insert statements dynamically as long as you know all the data catalog in your organization, and you can create them using insert statement. Again, a point to be noted, this is for business domain 1. So you have to make sure that you have the proper ID here. And if I execute this, so one more row header, and I'm going to add this as well, and there we go, one more row header. So basically what we have done is we added 3 rules and which on and customer data. So on this customer data we have added 3 rules. And what are we doing with those rules? We can check that in the DQ workshop document. If I open this, you would see that we are doing these 3 rules. So, and I can just copy it here. So we are checking the rule first, check whether the birth date is not filled. So we are checking as if the is there any null birth date. Number 1. Number 2 rule is check if the birth date is younger than 18 years. That's the second rule. Check if the birth date is older than 113 years. So these are sort of just an example checks. In the real business world, you have many more complex checks, and this is just to showcase how this works. So going back, most of this script, everything is explained in the workshop document, which I've just opened, and you can find all the things there. So we have done with that. So if you see our bulk load template, you will see there are there are 2 rules which we have just added, these 2 rules, and we're gonna bring them in the DQ rule table, in this table. Now it's sitting just in the bulk load template. There are optional, which is to check whether the rules are correct. So you can do this, you can check, yeah, validated 2 records, it's all good. And you're gonna bulk load, you will push all the rules. Now you're gonna commit that to the DQ rule table. You're gonna do this, and you see both are added. Records processed into DQ model is 2. So now that we have done with the rules, so all the rules are sitting in the DQ rule table. I would like to just see how many rules are there, and I expect 3 rules in the DQ rule table, and there are 3 rules. And you can say birth date we all are doing, and as I said, it's a practice where you check the integrity of the data, but then you associate the integrity of the data and the structure of data, which falls under a certain quality dimension. And as you can see, this falls under a dimension accuracy. So how accurate is my data? And this falls under a dimension completeness. So because if it is this is where you're checking whether my data is complete or not. There are no not nulls. Check for not null birthdays. Also explained that these are the scripts which you can create on your business data dynamically through the Excel sheets, but you need to have these rules here, have these scripts here to work. There are many more columns which is being explained elaborately in the documentation. Some of the important to point out is the script should you can use different options greater than, less than, or equal to, and your target is 0. If it is greater or lesser, then it's violates the validation, and that's what you're catching. So you expect this script to equate to target value 0, outcome equals to 0. That's what it's a description here. You could also set it to 10, or you could set it to 20. It depends what the script is going to do. So That is what you are checking it for. Basically, rest all can be seen in the document. I'll go back to the script. Now, what are we going to do? Finally, we're going to run the framework. We're going to run the framework. It's called the domain auditing, and we will bypass the scheduler. We are not scheduling this, which is also possible. So if I run this data quality framework, and it has run, this is something which you could do periodically from the SQL job. It will run every time. And now let's see how it has done its job. This is where you can see the DQ results, and you would see we have run the DQ, and it has scanned. It's an aggregation of the data. As you can see, there are two accuracies dimensions were there. It's grouped into one, and you can see actually we have the sample data which is 500. It has grouped by grouping. It has scanned 500 two times for rule 1 and rule 2. That's why you see scanned 1,000 records. And as a non-compliance of 16.7 percentage. This is in percentage. So the reason for it, 167 records which has failed the accuracy. So you would see that's how you read this. And in the completeness check, you would see there are 9 records which has failed out of 500. So 1.8 is the non-compliance at this moment. So, and you would go at summary, row level, individual row level, which you can pick it up, and you can see have run all the DQs were run, and you will see the status. If it is equal to 0, as we talked about, it's passed. It's not equal to 0, it's failed. You see here, and it has scanned so many records. That was the sample data, and you can see also the percentages as being added here. Basically, this is the data quality framework. Further, what we could do is we could do some auditing on this. For instance, you can see what was the last instance which has run, how long it took, and last instance was 3. It took just 0 minutes, but you have more DQs, then it will probably take more time here. This is the log, individual log, which you could see, and you could see the last was 3rd. You can individually, every DQs has been called, DQ 1 and 2 and 3, and you would see a sort of summary in the log itself. And total processed is 3, passed is 1, failed 2, unknown is 0. There are scenarios where there could be unknown when there's no data, or so it couldn't process further, then it becomes unknown. And this is a straightforward log. Now, for instance, you would like to clean up all this. You could just keep it as for other colleagues to see this, how it works, or you may also want to drop this. You can use this store procedure in the end, which would clean up. It will drop all the triggers and will clean it up. So I'm gonna not clean up in this demo, but it's also possible to clean up the old for a specific business domain. You can clean it up. This concludes an short demo of the data quality framework. And thank you very much for watching this. Thank you.